set up here. And hopefully we will be able to do this easily and effortlessly so that I can share everything that I want to share with you here today. And looks like we're off to the races. All right. So today, my promise to you is I'm going to actually show you how myself and the other folks on board as consultants at Heartrepreneur literally can make you $10,000 in 45 minutes. And that's my goal. And I'm going to teach you simple, no-cost strategies that immediately increase your sales and your profits, no matter what business you're in. You know, as a reminder, I've worked with over 6,000 different businesses over the past years, over 247 industries. So your business is most likely not unusual for me. This is the formula that you don't know that most small business owners really struggle with. And the first thing is they don't know how to generate all the leads they can handle. Is that something, this is a focus group, so I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to expect you to answer for me. If you need more leads, I want you to comment more leads. If you're not generating all the leads that your business can handle, and I mean qualified leads, in the comments, I want you to say more leads. The second part of the 5-step formula is converting more people into paid clients, patients, or customers. And in my experience, this is the second area most small businesses struggle with. So if you also need more conversions, in the comments, say more conversions. This is a focus group. I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. Third, do you need more transactions? What do I mean by that? Let's say you sell one-off coaching, consulting, training, whatever it is. Do you need people to buy more frequently? If you own a hair salon, do you need more people to come get their haircuts more frequently? If you're a naturopath, whatever it might be. Number 4, higher prices. If you think that the way to do business is to discount or charge lower prices, you've got it all wrong. So can you have more higher prices? And again, in the comments, tell me more transactions, higher prices. And finally, the 5th step of the profit formula is frankly more profits. And I know how to not only skywrite your profits, but literally help you dominate the marketplace. And if you don't have enough profits, you're not taking home enough money. So again, in the comments, tell me what you need. It's either more leads, could be all of them, more conversions, more transactions, higher prices, and more profits. Well, we literally have all of these things broken down. You need to know how to make advertising work. And by the way, there's ways to do free advertising. You also need to know how to downsell. Most people are concerned with upselling. Downselling is really the key to your wealth. How do you build joint ventures fast so that you get a large influx of qualified leads? How do you create not just a drip campaign, which most people have, but one that actually produces revenue? And then how do you upsell? Now that we know how to downsell, how do you sell something higher priced or cross-sell, something that's not exactly the same thing? And please hear me, you have to learn how to do all this ridiculous end, this madness with discounting. Do not discount, it's offering more value through bundling. How do you expand your products, your services, your offering, and actually increase your revenue? And a big one is cutting your unnecessary costs. I find most business owners have all kinds of things they really don't need. So we use something called the Profit Growth Calculator, and my whole team has access to this. Now, in the Profit Growth Calculator, it's a little hard for you to see, but I'll kind of step you through it. We basically take what you're currently doing. How many leads are you getting right now? How many conversions? How many transactions are you getting? In other words, does somebody buy once or do they buy 10 times? Can we raise your prices and can we give you more profits? Now, I'm going to use really conservative numbers here. Let's just say you had 1,000 leads over the course of the year and we only helped you 10%, which would be kind of marginal, but let's just say you go from 1,000 leads to 1,100. And let's say that you were converting 25% and we only go up again 10%, it's 27.5. And let's say you were getting an average of 10 transactions per customer. Now, if they just did one more, it went to 11. And now instead of your price being 100, it just went up a little bit to 110. And now you would have more profits going from 25% to 27.5%. Your profit has gone from $62,500, pay attention, to $100,400.50. Look at the difference going from 62,000 to 100,000 just by these marginal, and they are marginal, 10% increases in each area. Now, our way of doing business is typically that we can increase each of these areas 50%. So let's just look at this together. So if instead of 1,000 leads, we helped you over the course of the year grow by 50%, then you would have 1,500 leads. And instead of your conversions being 27.5, we helped you dramatically increase that 50%. So now you're at 37.5. And now we took your more transactions from 10 by 50% up to 15. And we took your higher prices up from $110 to $150. We take your profitability from 27.5 up 50% to 37.5. Watch this, because this is really important and where it's at. Oops, sorry about that. I hate when that happens, and it just happened. There we go. Sorry about that. That does happen on occasion. So when you look at these numbers, I really want you to pay attention. I really want you to look at the bottom. Profit went from 62,500 to 474,187.50. That is huge, absolutely huge. So here's the key to successful marketing. Please breathe this in. Tell me if you're still with me. Let me know that you're getting this. You must be able to enter the conversation that takes place in the head, in the mind of your prospects. Think about this for a minute. What is the number one question on your prospect's mind? If you enter that at just the right time, they will purchase from you. There's not a doubt about it. There's a conversation that's taking place in every prospect's mind, and it really revolves around 2 points. First of all, there's a problem they have and that they don't want. Or there's a result that they really want, but they don't have. Let's just take an example of weight loss. The problem they have is I'm overweight and I don't want to be overweight and I have diabetes. Or there's a result they want that they don't have. I really want to grow my business and I want to have a 6- and 7-figure business and I don't have it. The conversion equation is magical because of these words, and this is what it does. And if you catch these words, put them in the comments so you remember them. Interrupt, engage, educate, offer. I'm going to say them again. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. So Terry, what's an interrupt? Well, an interrupt is a headline, and that headline could be verbal, or it could be video, or it could be phone, or it could be in writing. Engage comes right after interrupt, and I see many people miss the engage. They might be able to interrupt, but they don't have an engaging subhead, okay, whether it's, again, verbal or whatever it is. Then we get into educate. Educate is information that you're providing verbally or in writing that gets to your prospects, and it shows that what you provide is superior to anybody else in the marketplace. And then finally, the offer. It must be so compelling. It must be irresistible so prospects can't turn it down. And by the way, this conversion equation we also call reverse marketing. For those of you who are my client family members, you know this. Interrupt, engage, educate, offer. Now, right now, especially during our pandemic, as we say, right? There's so much saturation of marketing messages. There's just too many. So you have to have multiple touch points before people buy what you're offering. And, you know, typically it can take between 20 and 100 touch points. Did you hear that? 20 and 100 touch points in order to get people today to say yes and make a buying decision. So you need to know the conversion equation because it reduces the touch points dramatically. For us and most of our client family members, the touch points go down to only 5 touch points. 12 is typically the highest, but we range around 3 to 5. Most businesses do a terrible job of follow-up, and there is a huge window of opportunity for any business, for your business, to become the dominant business in your industry. So what we do first is we look at who your ideal clients are. And now we get into this decision-making process. Write those words down, decision-making process. The more that you understand who your ideal buyers are, and I mean ideal, and the more that you understand what drives their decision-making, then what happens is we teach you how to get very quickly additional marketing research. And this is really compelling and can make all the difference. So what we're looking at is talking to a potential buyer and really having them understand why they should buy what you have. And these are your future buyers. They're just getting educated and maybe thinking, maybe I should get this. Then you have the buyers. Think of it as a parade, right? In the back of the parade, or yeah, I'm going to buy someday, not now. Then you have in the middle of the parade, the sooner buyers. They're considering buying, but they're like, well, why shouldn't I buy? This is how prospects think. And then you have what I call the now buyers. They're at the front of the parade and they're saying, I want this product, I want this service, but who should I get it from? So you have to think about what is the offer that you are giving people. And so, here we go with what I'll call sort of a typical offer. Get your free consultation. There's a phone number. There's a fax number. There's an email number. There's a way to contact someone. And what's the offer? Look at this one. We have a chiropractic clinic. What's the offer? And I'm serious. I could pull almost anybody's website or opt-in pages. What's the offer? Go look at yours. What's the offer? So we identify, as I said, your ideal clients. And then we really have to look at this whole journey of this parade. And what people need to make a decision is information. So now look at the difference here. Parenting advice and resources from Dr. John Smith. Very simple opt-in page, by the way. We give this out so that our client family members can model it. It's available for every kind of business and industry. So we have a little video that you put in. We tell what you specialize in, and there's a free consultation. Look at all these things that this doctor was specializing in, everything under the sun. Now look at the difference of what we did. We took what he had and we added a compelling headline. Are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? That's compelling, and that's in the prospect's mind. So we engage and we interrupt. We interrupted, now we engage, right? We've interrupted. It's like, oh, that's me. I have yelling, screaming, belligerent attitudes of children. I'm paying attention. Now we engage you with the subhead. Now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. Notice how I'm in the prospect's mind. What do they want? They want peace and quiet. So we have the same little video, but now we have a compelling offer. Learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. Now there's a reason, and notice all that other stuff is gone from the page because it's not relevant. We even provided this doctor with the exact video script of what to say on that opt-in page. As a parent, are you struggling to gain control of your child's attitudes and emotions? Is your child yelling and screaming at you while often displaying a belligerent and sometimes threatening tone, no matter what you do or try, and you just can't seem to get it under control? My name is Dr. John Smith. I help parents like you every day learn the techniques that will solve these frustrating and destructive behavioral problems once and for all, and let me prove it to you. Enter your first name and your email in the box on the right, and I will immediately send you a series of 60-second techniques to restore peace and quiet in your home. There's the script. It's a perfectly copywritten script. It does everything it's supposed to do. Go back to his other page. Look at the top. It had a big logo. Who cares? Look at the top. It had all these choices: home, newsletter. Look at the top: parenting advice and resources. Who cares? That didn't interrupt me, and it didn't engage me, and it's specializing in how many things, and there's a free consultation for what? Why do I need it? Why do I want it? Now you take the doctor's video script and we have a compelling call to action. Enter your first name and your email. Make it simple. And I'll immediately send you what? A series of 60-second techniques. Some of you send out long videos and all kinds of stuff. Simple, short, easy. So now we're looking at this advertising formula, and all we're doing is giving out this learn the secrets. That's all we're doing. And look at the comparison difference. Real results. Dr. John Smith was averaging 300 leads a month. If you increase that and take a look at that, well, let's not increase it. Let's look at the 300 leads a month. 10%, 30 would ask for consultation, and 3 of them, which is like 10%, would say yes for the consultation. People inquire and then they don't have it. And so he'd get, which is pretty normal, about 3 of them would become new patients. That's a typical conversion rate. Now look at what happened with this website and this opt-in page. The 300 leads per month, we're going to stay the same. About 20% of those actually requested that video series. Now we had 6 that requested the actual consultation, and all 6 became new patients because they are perfect and ideal. The average sale value per patient for him is $800. So in 1 month, just changing this around, an increase of $2,400. Now, if you take that out over the course of 12 months, that's $28,800 a year. There's one strategy. You better put that one to use. Now let's talk about how to build your business really fast using joint ventures. So let me kind of rehash what we've done. The first thing we did is we've said, all right, we have to know who our ideal prospects are. We have to know what drives their decisions. And we have to do some research. And now we're going to do something that literally will amp up your business dramatically. So what's a joint venture? It involves 2 or more businesses that form not a legal partnership, but a handshake agreement. We're going to endorse each other, or we're going to share markets, or we're going to market something to the customer base through a revenue share. And I will tell you, I've done lots and lots of joint ventures. The key is to find partners who have the exact same clients that need or want what you sell. I love this example of the wedding industry. So think about the wedding industry, no matter what industry you're in, and think about if someone is getting married, all of the different touch points that they have. There's a jeweler for an engagement ring. Then there's the wedding planner, the church, the chapel, the reception venue, the wedding dress, the florist, pay attention, the wedding cake, the printer for invitations, just through one event in the wedding industry. Everyone above the florist is perfectly positioned to refer business to the florist. A wedding planner, a jeweler, church, chapel, reception venue, wedding dress should all be places that the florist will do joint ventures with. Everyone below the florist, so the wedding cake, the printer, the invitations, is ideally positioned to get referrals from the florist. Once you order your flowers, the florist can suggest where to get the cake, where to get invitations printed. So could the florist potentially obtain just 1 referral each month from just 1 person above the business? So 1 referral, I don't care if it's from the jeweler, wedding planner, church, chapel, reception venue, or wedding dress, just 1. Could they get 1? And could the florist potentially send just 1 referral each month to each business below them? Well, if the average sales price for the florist wedding flowers, I'm just making this up, it's really cheap numbers, $3,000, then just 1 referral a month produces an annual increase of $36,000. Now, if the average sales price for a wedding cake is also $3,000 and the florist gets a reasonable 10% referral fee through to the joint venture, then a single referral a month produces an extra annual income of $3,600. So if the average sales price for printing is $1,000, again, that's cheap, and the florist gets just 10% joint venture referral fee, then they just get one referral a month, just one. They now have an additional $1,200 worth of income. So now take a look and add it all up. Just in this example, the florist now has an additional $40,800 in annual revenue. And I'm using really conservative numbers here, really conservative. What if, and we did this, we helped the wedding planner create what we call a consumer awareness guide called 5 Things Every Bride Should Know to Avoid Disaster on Their Wedding Day. You could do this in your business. The 5 things you must know before you hire a realtor. The 5 things you must do before having a pool installed so it's not a disaster. You can model this. We use these reports, by the way, as lead generators, and they work, and they're all pre-written in every industry. So now let's talk about another one of the strategies, which is downselling your way to wealth. Most people think upselling is the way. Downselling. Let's say that someone says no, they can't do your product or service offering. So I'll give you an example. We were looking at new refrigerators online today, and I found the super ridiculously fancy one. And my husband's like, we don't need a $5,000 refrigerator, do we? I'm like, oh no. So we called the company providing it and said, you know, we love the refrigerator, but you know, we don't want to spend $5,000 right now. They downsold us and they said, well, we have a little bit smaller version, doesn't have this and this, it's $2,500. Offer an alternative at a lower price. Here's your goal. You want to turn someone into a buyer, not just for the short-term financial benefit. That's really not what it's about. It's about being able to help them and service them and do business with them in the future. That's what's most important. So let me give you a true example. This is a health club. They sell a 1-year gold membership program, and they do something called a 90-day health makeover program. They offer a 1-week trial membership. That's the downsell. Try it for 1 week. A florist, they sell a dozen roses for $50. Just one $25 alternative downsell would bring an additional $8,000 in. This is just like one possible downsell. They could also find alternatives for weddings and lower priced options for funerals and things like that. Let me just check, get in the comments. Are you learning anything? What are you actually learning that you might be able to go, oh, I'm getting it, Terry, let me implement. All right, now let's talk about creating a revenue producing drip campaign. Look, I get drip campaigns into my inbox like you do all the time. Just to be honest, between us, most of them suck. I'm being honest. I'm using, you know, terms that are not that endearing. Most of them I don't even look at. They're not done well. What you do need to know is that 80% of all sales occur between the 5th and the 12th point of contact. The 5th time that somebody has heard from you or seen you. Well, our system automatically delivers a drip form of communication done on a predetermined and a scheduled basis. So I'm going to give you an example. Here's a sunroom idea guide. 7 benefits of owning a sunroom. Our sunrooms stay warm. You'll notice all the touch points. There are letters, there are ads, there are flyers, there are postcards, there's brochures, there's emails. Every single thing is created for you. Literally, it's by every single category. Every category. Realtors, mortgage brokers, attorneys, physicians, dentists, coaches, consultants, speakers. I can go on and on. You name a category, it's in there. Contractors, doesn't matter what you do, remodelers. So going back to this advertising formula, just go back to this example. Averaging 300 leads a month. Let's take it where 60 people request the offer. This is what happened. 10% now consult to the consultation. 6 people become new patients, as I showed you, And just by using this one marketing piece, there was a difference in this opt-in, increasing the revenue to almost $30,000 a year. This is what it looks like if you're talking about funnels. So here's what happens though. Please catch this, one of the most important things I'm going to teach you. Since 60% opted in, 54 qualified prospects didn't engage, didn't buy from him yet. Those 54 prospects go into the ready-made drip nurturing campaign. It's proven, it's effective, it's systematic, and it works, and you don't have to create it. Now, assuming that that just produces 2 additional clients, which is really ridiculous. We've helped people do drip campaigns to get 10 and 12, but let's just say you got only 2. I'm being super conservative. This is what it looks like over the course of 1 year. This is how the growth exponentially goes up. So now we have 3,600 prospects. So at the end of the first year, that squeeze page generated for this doctor, Dr. Smith, 72 additional clients in a year. Could you use 72 more people buying your products and services this year? There's been 156 new clients through this nurturing campaign that never would have converted without it. Never. By the end of 1 year, the doctor was generating an average of 30 new patients every single month. What would your business look like if you actually had 30 additional buyers every single month? Now, is that a number that the doctor could handle logistically, or does the doctor have to grow his practice? So now let's talk about more transactions, the next part of the 5-step formula. So we talked about downsell. Now I want to introduce you to the concepts of upsell and cross-sell. So upsell, what does that mean? You offer something that's a little bit higher quality, higher service. So for an example, in coaching or consulting, you could offer groups, and then upsell could be adding on some individual work. Cross-selling is when you have something else that complements what the customer is purchasing. So let's say somebody was buying one of my books, Sell Without Selling or About to Break, and a cross-sell could be they also purchased a training that went with the book. Our experience shows that 34% of prospects will buy additional products or services. Please hear this. If they're asked to at the point of service, not a day later, not a week later, right at the time they're buying. So I like to teach by example. We're going to take another example. Well, there we had let me go back to that one. I didn't show it quite long enough. Sorry about that. There we have an auto service center that has an annual program, as you can see. Upsell Crosssell. So they were upselling their annual program. Register now, and every single month you get your oil changed. A dentist that offers basic dental services, you know, exams and teeth cleaning. To be honest with you, I've worked with dentists for years. That's not really where they make their money. Where the money is in dentistry is cosmetic services, crowns, fillings, braces, root canals. So they want to bring someone and upsell or cross-sell them. And why might someone leave their current dentist and choose you if you're a dentist? Well, 85% of the population have some form of medical insurance. It may not be great, but they have some form. But only 50% of our population has dental insurance. So those without dental insurance, 44% say, I don't visit a dentist because it's not covered. I have to pay for it. Can you see the opportunity here if you're a dentist? What do you think might happen if a dentist said, I work with families who don't have dental insurance, and literally gave the exact same services as those that have with dental insurance, but they didn't have to pay expensive monthly premiums for their insurance? Do you think there'd be a bulk of buyers there? There would be. So here's what their campaign looks like. Here's the no problem, no dental insurance. Think no dental insurance means you can't see the dentist? Think again. Quality dental care for families with no dental insurance. Okay, the Richardson dentist offers copay prices for routine exams, even if you don't have dental insurance. All done for you, all pre-written. The dentist, by offering a routine exam and cleaning, let's say I'm making this really cheap for $25, which by the way is the normal copay with insurance, it covers the cost for the cleaning, the treatment. So what they're then doing is upselling additional services, like the oil shop that says, oh, we're going to check your oil, and you also need brake fluid or transmission fluid. Upsell, cross-sell what else somebody needs. Well, you need braces, you need dentures, you need crowns. Let's do cross-sell restaurants. The staff, and I've worked with a lot of restaurants, now comes in the beginning of the meal and brings an appetizer or a wine cart to each table. Before the patrons offer, I'm going to give you an example. I live in Mexico in the winter and I go to this one restaurant. When you sit down, the first thing they do is they wheel over this cart of this special drink that they make before we order. And another restaurant that I go to, also in Mexico, they're even smarter. They have these 4 different drinks that they make. They're non-alcoholic drinks, and they say, before you order, we're going to put 4 of these little drink samples on the table, and you can see which you like. Well, I will tell you, I've been to this restaurant frequently. Almost everyone I've ever taken there, after they take the sample, order those drinks. So they are now able to make more money. By the way, at the end of the meal, they can do the same thing. They can wheel around a dessert cart. They can give samples. This makes all the difference. Whenever I've worked with a restaurant to do this taste and reciprocity, it has doubled and sometimes tripled appetizers, and in particular desserts, which are very high margin for restaurants. So what happens to the restaurant and in your business is you can increase your total revenue. And that's what happens. And we also teach the waiters, I'm sharing everything, I'm pulling back the curtain. You know, you maybe have had this happen in a restaurant. The waiter comes over and says, I would like to recommend the lobster and filet mignon. It's so good, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not only because it's so good, it's because they've been trained to offer something that is higher priced. And by the way, most patrons go with the recommendation of the waiter. That increases in restaurants that we work with revenue 10 to 15%. All right, if you're not seeing how some of these work in your business, stand by because I'm still going to help you. So how do you expand your products and your services to increase revenue? Well, let's look at a landscaper. I've worked with a lot of those also. And they can offer the following services through joint ventures, just like we took the wedding planner and we want you to do in your business. What else could the landscaper do? Well, our landscaper does many of these: tree trimming, decking, fencing, stonework, installing sprinkler system, swimming pool installation, outdoor kitchens, outdoor lighting, patio installation, even snow removal. So they can either offer these or they can have someone joint venture with them. Just by doing this, they could negotiate a 10 to even a 25% affiliate fee for every one of those providers, and that would double their annual revenue. So if you're a marketing strategist and you want to expand your products and services, you could do something like we've done. You can have an e-learning system that offers weekly strategic marketing webinars, a weekly application workshop, a weekly Ask the Expert call, a monthly mastermind, a monthly lunch and learn, guaranteeing you'd be on page 1 of Google. These are all kinds of things that you can add. All right, this is really important, especially because I'm watching you all, and I see many of you doing this discounting madness. A mentor of mine who's usually thousands and thousands of dollars, all of a sudden is doing trainings for like no money at all. I don't recommend that. I recommend that you offer the same prices. My client family members know this, and all you do is you tack on what we call bundling. So what is bundling? It's grouping together products and services to create a package, okay? So, you know, if you think about, let's just say it was coaching or consulting, here's a coach, here's a consultant, here's a coach or consultant, they all kind of look alike, you know, and we want to make the apples to oranges comparison and remove price completely. People buy based on value, outcomes, and results, not price. You think they do, they don't. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you this, but most small businesses are really bad at conveying a core unique positioning statement or a value proposition. And that's one of the things we specialize in. So when that happens, price becomes the only thing for people to make a decision. Well, you look like you, so this one's lower, I'll go to this one. And that's really a problem in your business. Bundling is the only way to stand out and be number one in your niche. You offer more value than your competition. Trust me, your prospects pay double the price if they perceive that they're getting like 4 times more value. But let me just tell you, most businesses offer discounts that destroy their profit margins, and it's why a lot of businesses go out of business. Did you know that some businesses discount their price by only 10%? It means that they have to sell 50% more of that product or service just to get back to the break even. So please don't think discounting is a smart idea. Bundling is a much better idea. Let's say you sell, I don't know, a widget for $100. Let's say your profit margin's 30%. So every time you sell a widget for $100, you make $30. So the cost basis for your widget is $70. And if you say, well, Terry, it's times are hard, I'm going to discount that widget 10%. So instead of $100, I'm only going to sell it for $90. Well, your cost base hasn't changed. It's still $70. Now you're only making $20 in profit instead of 30. Let me show you what I would recommend. For this business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widgets at $100 each, they needed to sell 33.3 widgets. By discounting their price 10%, now they actually need to sell 50 widgets. Do you see what that just did? They have to sell just 50% more widgets to even get back to their original profit margin. That is why we don't discount and we bundle. Now, to be honest with you, when's the last time you saw a business just give 10% off? Especially now, people are getting ridiculous. I saw somebody giving a 70 or 80% discount, and then they're scratching their heads going, I'm not making any money. I think I'm gonna go broke. I'm gonna go out of business. Well, let me give you some like, quote, bad news. Discounting actually doesn't impact someone's buying decision unless the discount is at least 40%. So I'm going to give you the closely guarded secret. Successful businesses don't want you to know this, and I'm here to reveal it. Stop discounting. If you've never seen the Bob Newhart episode, YouTube it. It's fun to watch. And I say this to my client family members when they're doing something that's not quite right. I say, stop it. Stop it. Stop discounting. Instead, you want to innovate your business. The goal is that you have more value with your products and your services than your competition, even if that means increasing your price. When you discount, you lose the full dollar value of every dollar you discount. And bundling, it increases perceived value so much more. Let's take some examples. I do work with home builders and remodelers too. So they typically contract with suppliers that offer them very large volume discounts. They do that like with electronics and many other things. So one builder agreed to buy multiple packages of a whole house entertainment and security system, and included everything like a 50-inch HD TV, complete, high quality surround system, complete home security with cameras and surveillance, fire protection, alarms, all of those things. The retail price for the package is $22,800 installed, but the builder bought them in huge volume for around $6,500. So installation wouldn't be part of the cost. Since the builder already has the home literally stripped down to the studs they're going to build, installation can be handled during the actual project by the builder's same crew for pretty much pennies on the dollar. They're there, they're on the job. So now let's look at like a moderately priced neighborhood. And there's this builder and there's other builders, and people are comparing the two. Let's say all the builders are offering homes at $150,000. Our builder offered their home for $156,500. And here's what it included. The additional $6,500 out-of-pocket expense to the builder, and their home came with a standard $22,800 entertainment and full security system free. You're going to build a home. Are you going to spend $150,000 and not get all of that? Or are you going to spend $156,500 and get that full home entertainment and security system? In fact, I think the builder should do it for $160,000. Would you pay $10,000 more? Would you believe that the difference of $156 to $500, which is $3,500, would prevent you from saying yes when it comes standard with the entertainment and security system? And by the way, doesn't this look like a much better deal than the $150,000 home without it? So this additional $3,500 increase did make a difference due to the loan qualifications, but the builder always could reduce the price back to $156,500. They could even maintain the original price of $150,000, and they could agree to lower their profit margin on each home sold. That would still allow them to potentially double their normal sales volume and just about double their profits year after year. They're still be making about 30% profit at $150,000. I'm working with home remodelers. They could do the same type of positioning every time they go out and they bid on a job. Are you starting to see how this works in your business? Because it works in every kind of a business. So let's take a look at this one. Same builder example. Get the same home theater media room normally reserved for $1 million homes free. And we would update a few of the graphics here. What's included? Get the same home theater and audio setup normally reserved for $1 million homes and included free for a limited time. Look at this. These are just some of the samples of professional pieces already done that you can use regardless of what business or industry you're in. They're done by every category. More of the examples that are sitting there. Now, we must talk about this today. You must cut your costs and unnecessary expenses, especially right now if you're a business owner. Oh my gosh, I love to see what you all are spending money on. I love you all, and every once in a while, I will say to people, let me see your credit card statements. What are you buying that for? What are you involved in this for? Why are you taking the same training 20 times? So how do you get more profits? Well, there are two ways to increase your overall profitability. So only two. You either increase your revenue or you decrease the cost of doing business. So how do you increase your revenue? It's easy, my friend. You raise your prices. When's the last time you raised your price? Most small businesses like never. You need to raise your price. And I know what happens. I was working with a client on this a few weeks ago who was really scared about raising his prices. And I told him to do it. And he said, well, I'm going to lose a lot of people. And the truth is, I've been doing this for years, 6,000 client family members, 8 multi-million-dollar businesses of my own. That's not what happens. So let's just say you have this widget and you say, I'm going to increase it 10%. That's nothing. The widget goes from $100 to 110. Do you really think that tiny increase is going to have your customers leave? Yeah, a few may leave. The few that leave are really there because they're only buying you because you're the lowest price. They're not loyal to your business. Let them leave. To what extent will that customer attrition really happen? Very minimal in my experience. Now the business makes an additional $10 pure profit. Just doing the math, that's a 33% profit increase. So now for this business to make $1,000 in profit, selling their widgets at $100 each, they actually have to sell 33.3 widgets. But if they increase the price by just 10%, now they only have to find 25 buyers. Let me ask you a question. Would you like to be able to find less buyers, or do you want to find more and more and more buyers? That's a lot of marketing work. So just to break even, now that business would actually have to lose, due to the price increase, 25% of its customers. Really? For a measly 10% price? It's not going to happen. It doesn't. I've worked with every kind of business. Now, I always say err on the side of caution. Test the increase on a small scale. We teach you how to do that. We gauge the reaction. There is no faster or easier way to generate more revenue. Let's look at the second thing, which was more profits. So I recommend this. Decrease your cost of doing business. How do you do that? Well, number one, you cut your labor costs. So I'm going to share truth with you, always very transparent. I had many virtual assistants working in my business years ago, ranging from $35 an hour to $50 an hour. And I literally found labor that was less expensive because I needed to cut my costs. Maybe you have people that are full-time that can go to part-time, or you can use independent contractors, or you could use students or interns, or you can use people in other countries. If you have to have labor to operate your business, you have to look at how to exponentially grow your business. And by the way, please hear this. If you think you're a one-person solo shop and I'm the only coach, chiropractor, naturopath, dermatologist, whatever you are, you will never grow a company. You will be trading time for money, and that is not what I teach. Now, I don't recommend that you go hire new personnel. We teach you how to do internships, going to local junior colleges, universities, and we teach you how to offer an internship for the semester or the year. And it could be people in marketing, business administration, whatever you need in your business. I've had photography students, I've had writing students. Schools love internships. It's a value add for their education, gives the student real world experience, real world. They can use it on their resume. I endorse them, and certainly I've even hired some of them. And the kids dig this. They get out of the classroom as much as possible. They get real world experience. And right now we don't know when and if school is going to resume and what it looks like. The experience is important on their resume. They jumpstart in front of other students, and I have hired many of them when they graduated. Of course, I love this as the quote employer. I'm not paying a salary. They're getting college credit. And I will tell you, every year I have interns. I have 4 right now, saving us tens of thousands of dollars each year. So now here's what's left. We want to add up the additional revenue that we just found for your business. We did a lot of strategies today: advertising, joint ventures, downsell, drip campaign, upsell, cross-sell, expanding the offerings, bundling, increasing the pricing, and lowering the costs. So what's left is to add up the additional revenue that we just found literally for your business. I have to say this, the revenue isn't a one-time increase. This is revenue that you will generate year after year after year, as long as you keep executing the proven exact strategies. We showed you what it would look like going to 10%, and more accurately, we really help our client family members get closer to 50% in leads, conversion, transactions, higher prices, monthly profits, and the bottom line. With just small increases, just that 10%, we're able to uncover money for you. Now, when you actually execute each of these 8 strategies, you now have a system for your business. That's what most of you are lacking. And what happens when you own a business with a system is you consistently have a large number of qualified leads, conversions, and you're having sales on an ongoing basis. So every single day, your cash register, so to speak, is ringing. Most small business owners have no systemization. They don't have a self-sustaining model, and they have to literally be there all of the time. My goal is to help you set up a company so that you gain economic freedom, also freedom of time, to really live your life and do what it is that you want. So if you have a website, your goal is, like, I have a website, I have to find people. How do I get them to my website? How do I get a client? It doesn't get you anything. You have an opt-in page, you have a funnel, it gets you nothing. You have an automated webinar. You don't understand these 8 strategies that you have to execute, because here's what happens when you do. Number 1, you have new sales regularly through advertising and drip campaigns. Number 2, you have joint ventures sending you revenue regularly. Upsells, downsells, and cross-sells are happening daily. And you have additional affiliate products or services to offer your clients, customers, or patients. And now you're charging higher prices, and people are willingly paying because you're giving them more value and you're lowering your costs. It's a lot. So because this is a focus group, this is what I want you to actually do. In the comments, I want you once again to tell me what areas you're lacking on. Is it leads? Is it conversions? Is it transactions? Is it your price? Is it cost cutting? And here's what my dear friend, master coach, certified protege in Terry Levine processes and procedures, Barbara Portzline, is willing to do. And I want you all to give Barbara like a huge shout out and thanks and a round of applause. Barbara's setting some time on her calendar for right now to do this free. I don't know how long it'll be free. I'm being honest with you. She's giving this away out of the kindness of her heart. You're going to go over to speakwithbarb.com and you'll book a time for her to speak with you where she's going to do this for you. She's not there to do a sales pitch at all. She's there to chat with you and to listen to which one of these areas is your biggest business problem. By the way, this is for non-client family members. So if you're already in a program with me or at the educational library or with me and Barb, this is not for you. This is for those of you who we're not yet helping. And when you go over to speak with Barb and you book a time, she will actually get on. It is not a sales pitch in disguise. She will do her very best to help you with the one thing you identified as your biggest business challenge. This is a focus group experience, and this is what we mean by that. The more we learn from you, the more we can help you. The more you learn from us, the more you can see how we can help you. You may decide to have our help, you may not. If you don't want our help implementing and you want to do it on your own, Barbara will tell you exactly what to do. Barbara cares like I do. You matter. So today, I recommend you go to Speak with Barb. I also recommend that you really go back and watch this more than once. This is like an entire webinar, really. And you see what's not quite right yet in your business and where you need help. Right now, if you're making any of the mistakes like lowering your price, not bundling, not upselling, downselling, you don't have enough prospects, conversions, transactions, any of these things, or you're brand new, we'd like to help you. That's our goal. I care. You matter. I send you all my love. Create the most extraordinary weekend ever. And let me know what I can do to help and support you. Bye for now.